Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Ballet Shoes, the 2007 TV movie, the BCC movie, or is it BBC? The British movie. So I saw this many years ago. I remember back in the Harry Potter days, I was a fan of Emma Watson, and so I wanted to see more stuff she was in because like she was new to acting at that time, and Harry Potter was really the only thing she did at that time. I saw one more entry on her resume list, Ballet Shoes. I'm like, okay, what's that? So then I saw the trailer on YouTube. I'm like, okay, this seems like a pretty interesting movie. Why not? So I kept looking on YouTube and I was able to find it on YouTube many years ago. Now you can actually find it other places. It's on Roku TV channel right now. And so like this was back around which movie here did she do? Order of the Phoenix. And so in this movie, her hair is exactly the same as it always is in those movies, except for it's blonde to fit the role of Paulina and stuff like that. And so this movie is actually the second adaptation. They first adapted this movie off a novel. The novel came out in 1936 by an author named Streetfield and stuff like that. And so like it first was adapted in 1975. And so they later, decided to adapt it in 2007. For the most part, it's a very nice, quaint little movie and everything. Like it's enjoyable. You can have a good time. It's relaxing. It's something you can do just to like watch a movie to fill some time. You know what I'm saying? It's not overly dramatic. It's not overly complex. It's a TV movie. Like it feels like a TV movie because it is a TV movie. And so it's like an hour and 30 minutes long. And, the characters are very pleasant. My only real two complaints about this movie is kind of like the pacing kind of goes a bit too fast. Like once you start getting settled about what the movie's about and the role of the character, it quickly goes to like something else and a different character and it rushes through them. So it feels a bit rushed at times. Also, my only problem with it is that at the ending, it's like everybody gets a happy ending. Things just kind of fall in their lap. They're supposed to be a very poor, struggling family, but everything just falls in their lap as it should and makes everything better. And so, but that's how the book is and everything. And so it's this kind of like, that's a problem I've always had. It just, everything's just wrapped up in a neat little bow for a big smile on your face. But it's kind of like, it's just kind of a little bit unrealistic how everything just falls on everybody's lap. So what is this story actually about? When I heard the name Ballet Shoes, I assumed the movie was going to be about all three girls doing ballet and everything. But no, it's not like that. Only really one girl does ballet, and that's about it. So I'm not really sure why it's not called something else. But hey, like I said before, this is based off a book and stuff like that. And so basically what it's about is the movie starts off with this Nana and her little girl, and they're going to see a man. Now, the little girl is Sylvia Brown, and she's played by Amelia Fox. And so, like, they're going to go see Matthew Brown, but they call him Gum. Gums. Oh boy, I swear. And he's played by the late Richard Griffin, who was also in the Harry Potter books. He was the Dursleys' father. This is actually the first time I ever seen him and Emma on screen together, even though they were both in Harry Potter. That's only because the Dursleys never met the rest of the witches in the Harry Potter series. And so like he's her like great uncle or something like that. And basically her parents are dead and he's next in line to take care of her. Now he is an explorer. He goes around the world and he starts exploring type things, bringing all kind of fancy rich stuff back. He is very wealthy and he lives in a nice place. So we see in a very quick montage the development of that of Sylvia from a little girl onto that of a grown, about middle-aged, 40-something woman or so. And because it starts off in the very early 1900s, and then it rounds up into the Great Depression around 1930s, 1940s and stuff. And so it's a very quick montage, just like going right through, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm just kind of like, oh, we're not going to spend no time with her. And so she's now a middle-aged lady. And so every time he goes exploring, he keeps bringing back a child to adopt and everything. And so he brings back three. The oldest is the last name is Fossil for some bizarre reason. I don't know why he named him Fossil because his last name is Brown and Sylvia's last name is Brown, so I don't really get it. But maybe because he collect fossils and stuff like that. But Paulina is the eldest, played by Emma Watson. The middle child is a Russian girl he found named Petrova, and she's played by Yasmin Page. And the youngest is that of Polly, and she's played by Lucy Boynton. And so Polly came with actually ballet slippers from her mom and everything. Now, one of the girls, I can't remember which one, her father died, but her mom couldn't afford schooling. And so they all live in his nice, fancy little house. And, for the most part, they look at each other as actually real siblings, as they should, because they're adopted and everything. And it's really nice they don't distinguish each other because, like, oh, you're not blood related to me and blah, blah. So they don't do that bickering. So that's a really great thing. And they really have each other's back, even though, their personalities are very different and stuff. And so we get to see them as like little babies and then little toddlers running around. And then we get to see them as more like teenagers and stuff. And so when he goes on his last expedition, he doesn't come back. And it's to the point where he's been gone for 12 years and he is now declared dead. And so, but he left the family plenty of money to survive for at least 5 years. But of course, him being gone for 12, that money has now ran up. And so, their family is now extremely poor as a result, and they have to sell a lot of his fancy stuff like skeletons of animals and stuff like that, and just to survive and everything. And so it's to the point where they can't even afford to go to school. And so they have to start taking in boarders. And so they take in a couple of people. They take in two females, Dr. Jakes and Dr. Smith. They also take in Dio Thame, I think her name is. She's like some fancy lady who's all about like dancing to music and stuff like that. And they take in John Simpson, a widower, and a widow, as a widower, or something like that. And because his family died and stuff. And so for the most part, the two doctors are all like, oh, we'll teach the girls for free and, stuff like that. And so, but then Theo has a bright idea. Why don't we put them in dance class? We put them in dance class and theater and stuff like that. And then they can raise money so then later on they can go to school. And when I say they are very poor, I mean they are very poor to the point where they go to like a restaurant, they get like one pastry type dish and they have to cut it like 4 and 5 different ways and stuff. And so, while they're there at um the academy type place, they realize the three girls that they go on different paths and everything. Paulina, she wants to be more of an actress, and so Polly, she gets because the dance instructor lady, Madame, whatever her last name is, she wants little Polly to be just a ballet dancer. That's it. No tap, no dance, no theater, no nothing, just ballet. But for Petrova, she doesn't want to do none of that stuff. She'd rather just work on cars and learn how to fly. And so we get to see the course of their interactions and their growth and everything. We see Paulina taking on more plays, pissing off this one girl because she has a better look to her and stuff. And but then it causes her to be a diva. She's rude, she's snarky to everybody, and it's to the point where she starts losing out roles because of her attitude. And so when it comes to that Polly, she is an excellent ballet dancer and is really gonna make it. She goes to a recital with Madame, but Madame ends up having a stroke and dies. And we get to see the brightness of Paulina, not Pauline, but Polly, when she's all like, screw her and her stroke. What about me? I was supposed to get scouted by like talent scouts and stuff like that. And then we get to the more sensible one, the middle child, Petrova. Even though she's the middle child, but she acts more mature, like she acts more like a mother hen instead of that Paulina, because Paulina's a diva at this point. And so she's more sensible and she sees that Sylvia is sick. The cold weather where they're at is making her sick and she needs to be more in a warmer climate. She tells the other girls, but like, they're kind of like in their own little stuck up little way and stuff. And so I like the idea of Petrova being more of like the eldest one, even though she's not. She's supposed to be the awkward middle child, but she's more of the adult figure and stuff when it comes to the other three girls. And so, like, around this time, John and Sylvia are starting to build a slow relationship. Sorry, my camera died. So they're starting to build like a slow relationship. And so you got Petrova working on the car with John. You have the two doctor lady, they just disappear from the show. Even though they're still there, or not show the movie, even though they're still there, they disappear. And we rarely see Theo. She is just like, jealous of like, John spending so much time with Sylvia, but you don't really see it too much other than just a frown on her face. And so like, at some point in time, Paulina gets scouted by somebody who wants her to be in a movie. She does it, but she don't think she's really good in it. And Polly, she got in trouble because she ran. I didn't know this before this. So she got in trouble for something, and because her attitude about Madame dying and stuff like that, so she had to stay behind and couldn't go. And so it turns out Paulina actually did very well in that movie to where she got like a contract to go to California. And so, but Polly ran away. And when she ran away, she went to the recital. And then when she went to the recital, she just started dancing with the older, like, ballet dancers and stuff. And so the instructor liked her so much, he wants her to go to Czechoslovakia and train with him. So when they finally find her and everything like that, it turns out that Paulina doesn't want to take up the contract in California because, she'll have to miss out on all her schooling and other theater work here in Britain and stuff. But then this is where everything starts to wrap up in a nice little bow and gets more and more rushed and everything just falls in their lap. Turns out Gum is actually alive and everything. And it's to the point where he doesn't even realize he's been gone for 12 years. And he's all like, where are the little kids at? And who are these like older teenage girls? And he didn't even realize they grew up and stuff. And he wants to know who sold his house because in order to pay for stuff, they sold his house and everything. Because that's how little poor they are. Because here's a weird thing. All the stuff they've been doing costs money. And so they don't have the money for it. So it was to the point where Sylvia sold the house just so, they can have like the uniforms they should have in the dance classes and all this other stuff. And so Paulina decided, well, there's no way that Polly is going to be able to go to, have I been saying her name wrong? Is it Pauline or something like that? And so, yeah, she realized that Polly isn't going to be able to go to Czechoslovakia because they're poor, so she decides to take the contract and everything and sacrifice her rest of her training. So now she got a Hollywood movie contract in California. And so with that money, she's going to pay for Polly to go to Czechoslovakia with that of Nana. And so like, what is it? And so when it comes to Petrova, I forgot to mention, she gets small bit parts in like plays because she really doesn't want to do it. So with Gum back, he's going to teach her how to fly. And so, like, which is kind of weird almost, because this is back in the day when women weren't allowed to do anything. So I'm surprised he'll teach her. But anyway, whatever, whatever. And so now everything's lining up for like everybody a nice little boat, even to the point where John and Sylvia get married. And so I'm all like, man, everything's just like falling in their laps. And then next thing you know, Theo, she's sad because John's about to marry Sylvia, but then all of a sudden, some random dude from who appeared once in the movie very briefly comes up and he's all like, "I've always liked you ever since we were little," and blah blah. So now she's with somebody. And so I'm just kind of like, man, everything's wrapping up in a nice little bow towards the end of the movie with no type of struggles or sacrifices. Because it's weird how everything falls in their lap because they're super dirt poor and everything. But, that's just how it is. And, sometimes it is nice to end on a happy ending, but it just feels so unrealistic. That's my gripe about it. It's just like they're super poor, but everything just falls in their lap because of plot armor and everything. But like I said before, it's a nice, pleasant little movie. The only problems is the nice little bow thing at the end, and everything gets rushed through very, very quickly in like the movie. Like as soon as Paulina starts doing theater, then she becomes like a diva, then she starts having roles taken from her, then all of a sudden she's in the movie, and then all of a sudden she thinks she doesn't do good in the movie, but then she gets rave reviews and tons of fans wanting her autograph, and then she gets that huge contract, then she doesn't want to do it because she wants to further her schooling, but then something comes up and she takes the contract. So it just like it goes like really fast, and stuff. But other than that, like I said, it's a nice like movie and everything. And if it really wasn't for Emma, I would never have even known about this movie. But I still think the title is weird because only one of the kids does like, ballet. And even though Petrova, in my opinion, is the best of the sisters, she really doesn't get time to shine in the movie and stuff. And it just kind of like they kind of just forget about her because they're more focused on Polly and Paulina and stuff. And, it quite sucks because I do like the idea of her being like, the more mature. And so Sylvia, even it's weird. So it's like they say in the books that and also in the movie that Sylvia is going to move with Pauline to California, but she just got married. So does her husband want to go there too? I mean, it's a huge step from like Britain and everything. So it's one of those things that'll be have a nice follow up movie to it now that everybody's older and stuff, but everybody's hair is a little bit differently. What is it? The actress Yasmin who plays Petrova, her hair is really thick and bushy and curly, which looks amazing. Emma Watson has went back to her pixie cut hairstyle. I just realized when I looked on her Instagram from a picture last year in December, man, I don't know what happened to her. She has disappeared from acting. She hasn't acted since 2019, the movie Little Women. And her manager says she's not retired, but maybe she's doing a lot of activist type stuff. She does do a lot of that. I think she's an ambassador to something else, I think. And as for what is it? The youngest one, Posey and stuff. Her hair is now blonde, so and her hair was red in the movie. So if they ever do a follow up, they're gonna have to start changing some hairstyles, or just say that's their hair now. You know what I'm saying? Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.